Hi, I'm Nikki Milley, President of Niagara Arts Guild, and this is Studio Minute. This month we are visiting the historic home of Karl and Barb. Barb studied art in high school and college and often painted with her father at home. For the last 20 years, her primary focus has been on watercolor. Throughout motherhood, Barb remained active in the arts by doing various projects for schools and churches, and taught art to young children. She has served on the board of the Market Street Arts Center and hung shows for the Keenan Arts Center. She is a member of Niagara Arts Guild and has volunteered for the Guild in many different ways, including serving as past president, chairing shows, and assisting with gallery show setups. Her husband Karl, a retired chemist, has been interested in model trains since he was 4. Together they have created a masterpiece of miniatures, a world of stories and steam engines.
I started with a Marx train that my folks bought me at Christmas and ran around the Christmas tree. I was 4 years old and it was exciting. And then, World War II came along, and after the war, Lionel came into big production because then they had the materials to make Lionel trains, and that was kind of an upgrade.
Yeah.
You really felt, wow, this is great, because everything was more realistic than the tin type. And that lasted for all through my teen years, and it grew to where I used to put, instead of around the tree, I used to have plywood boards that we laid on a pool table, and that's when Barb came into my life. And
he took me for the first time to a hobby store with trains. And he said, I want you to see this engine. We were 16, I think, at the time. And we said, someday we're going to have an HO train layout, and we're going to have a general.
Yeah.
And
I
we
said,
do.
someday we'll be able to afford a general. So we got that one, and that sits over there right at the siding by the gold mine.
Nice.
One of the things that I find interesting in doing the train layout as well as watercolors is getting a sense of distance in whatever the picture is that I'm doing. And so this is a perfect example because you only have a small space.
Right.
And you have to accommodate train tracks. There's train tracks underneath this. And so my trees get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So that when you're over there, you sense that there's a lot more distance behind there. And that's kind of what I do with my watercolor paintings as well. And we didn't have a real plan. We just went at it a section at a time and thought about where do the train lines have to go.
Okay.
Once the tracks were laid, then I would build them out and stuff.
Okay. And that's built out of what
A
material?
lightweight plaster
Okay.
called Hydrocal.
How does that work? How do you do that?
Just
is it something you have to sculpt or?
Yeah, well, you can do 100 different things with 10 molds.
Sure.
But then you have to fill in the spaces between. So, this might be a mold and that might be a mold, but this isn't.
Okay.
Or this might be a piece of another one.
Wow.
So some of it is mold and some is just filled in and you carve it out with a with a knife.
Okay.
So there's
Very
a lot of
nice.
hours of artistic endeavor in trying to make the stone look like real stone.
And it does.
Yay!
Beautiful. I really like this one here.
So
I love
colors.
the detail and the colors and the sculptures going on here. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Because we love Arizona and the desert and all, I couldn't help but I had to put some Anasazi Indian ruins in here. Just for fun. They don't belong there because this is going to be called somewhere Colorado, but I moved my Anasazi Indians in anyway. This little guy, he's got binoculars. He's looking over there at a rock, and my 4 grandchildren have defaced the rock.
Oh, I love it. That's cute. Nice. So this is a family endeavor.
When I was a teenager, my dad was into oil painting, and he had started this, and it was down in the dining room, and when I'd come in from high school, I'd pick up the brush and I'd do a little. And then in the evenings, he'd do a little. And then I'd come back and I'd do it. So if you look at this sky, and you look at the snow, the colors are not the same, the style is not the same.
That's very
That my dad painted, these 2 I painted. You can there's such a difference in the way we did the artwork.
That's a really great picture and memories to have.
Isn't that fun? Yeah.
So, Barb, you do watercolor in this room.
Yes, I do.
Okay, and you stand to do it.
I stand right here. Well, it's close to the water. The only trouble is if you have a cup of coffee, you have to remember not to put it next to the water.
I do that all the
All the
time.
time.
So I go to drink the coffee and it's the paint water.
Yeah, oh no, I've never, oh, now you've
I
done
get
it.
them too close.
Now you've told me I'll do it.
Yeah. I find that really interesting because to stand to do watercolor, for me, watercolor takes some time.
Yeah, did you ever hear of Joseph Campbell?
No.
He's kind of a philosopher. He went to all the ancient artwork was all over the world. He had a fabulous, but his thing was follow your bliss.
Okay.
And when I'm standing here, there's nothing else in the world. I'm painting.
Nice.
And I don't think of the backache. I don't blink enough because I'm so busy.
Do your eyes water?
Yeah.
My eyes water all the time.
And then you know just what I mean.
I do.
And it's a fabulous thing. You're standing right in your own kitchen and you're somewhere else in the world.
That's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah.
It's meditative.
It is. It is. It's very good for the brain.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Does your creative energy come from an internal or external source?
Yeah, that's a toughie because I think in terms of the love of creating, it's a spiritual kind of thing. You either have that desire. My mother did it with decorating and fashion sense.
Sure.
My father and we were blessed with the ability to take something 3D in our minds and put it on a piece of paper or a canvas. So I think it begins with me as a little girl. I found out really early with my first coloring book that I loved the colors and I was good at it.
Right.
And so that's really where it started, sitting on some kid's porch knowing that my coloring book was better than hers, and she was older than I was.
Yeah.
And once you have a confidence in yourself like that, when it starts when you're young and it's encouraged, then anything's possible.
Right.
And I've taken a little girl from a kid standing in Chautauqua in the park with me to going through college for art and making a living in art.
That's great.
So I think it has to be a spiritual thing,
Okay.
not just something you think through.
Okay.
Maybe for some people.
So for you, it would definitely start internal then. It would be an internal
Oh,
thing.
absolutely.
And then, so what would you say though inspires that creativity? So when you think of something to paint, what sparks that?
Well,
Is it something you
oftentimes
see? Is it
oftentimes it's
something you hear?
something I see, and we're on a trip somewhere, and I take pictures,
Okay.
and I think, okay, that would make a great piece of artwork later
Okay.
on. And sometimes I mix them up.
Yeah.
You know, I got cows from one person and somebody else's
You put them
barns.
all in, merge them together. Right.
Because I want to tell a story. That's
Sure.
the main thing.
Sure.
And how you take the pieces. It's just like the train layout. All the pieces came from all over.
Right.
But I tell the story with it, and that's what my paintings are.
What piece of artwork are you the most proud of, and why?
Usually, I guess I'm the most proud of the one I just finished, because I finished it and I put my name on it. But then sometimes I look back at paintings I've done years ago, and I think, I've got to go back and study that, because that's better than what I'm doing now.
Okay.
If you don't continually do it, if you take a month or two off,
Yeah.
it's like you have to start over.
It's so true. Yeah.
And but I think that's the feeling of wow. And I get back from it and I look at it and then I go, oh, wait a minute. No, don't touch it, don't touch it. So I'm very happy with some of the works I've done in the past, but the fun is really in finishing the one I'm working on.
Sure. If you could choose one artist to spend the afternoon with, either past or present, who would that be?
Well, actually, it would be Joe Whalen,
Okay.
a local guy.
Yeah.
I got to spend time with him because we were on Market Street Art Center board together.
Mm.
And he had this whimsical way of giving you wisdom. And if you look at his paintings, you'll see that they tell fabulous stories. Some of them are dark and a bar and they're strange.
Right.
But you look at them and think, how he saw those people. And I know he told me one time, when he's just sitting somewhere, he always has a sketch pad, and he'll draw little vignettes of people. To spend a day with him and watch what he does would be absolutely phenomenal.
Now, you said you did spend some time with him. Did you have the opportunity to watch him work?
Never.
Or ask him about his craft?
No, I never had the chance.
If you did, what would you ask him?
I guess I just want to sit with him and watch him do it.
Just in quiet.
Yeah, I know the idea of sitting and doing the sketches because I did a lot of that in Chautauqua. You know, someone was doing a lecture, I'd be sketching somebody.
Sure.
And but to take that and make it into the bar scenes or this or that, how does he imagine it and how does he put it together? Just to watch him do it would be. Yeah, I'm a visual person, so
Yeah.
You know,
We benefit a lot from watching another artist
the
work.
theories are fine. Let me see you do it.
Right, yeah, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
What music or song is currently in your CD player?
Probably Christmas music.
Christmas music.
Guitar music. The family loves it. It's a tradition.
What, if you had to listen to music while you're painting, what would you be interested in listening to?
Well, I like pretty much anything.
Okay.
I have friends that have a group, so I might likely put that CD on and
nice.
listen to them play and listen to
Do
them
they,
sing.
is it instrumental or do they sing?
It's a rock group.
Oh, I love it.
I've known her since she was 18,
Oh,
so
that's great.
we won't discuss how old she is now.
And this is the last question. What words of inspiration were given to you that you can pass on to others?
That's very hard. I guess the most important thing is if you have a chance to work with children, just to give them the tools and give them a little help. That's the kind of inspiration, a little incentive like I had with my coloring books. I could do this. And I had one friend who couldn't, she said, I can't draw a straight line, but she ended up winning a blue ribbon.
Oh, wow.
I said, you don't need straight lines for art, Mark.
Sure.
So inspiration, it has to be, who are you talking to and what gift can you give them from your knowledge?
That's wonderful. Yeah, children are very impressionable, so I think it's important that we encourage them.
Oh, yeah.
A lot.
Right.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
And I hope you enjoyed our training layout and come again.
I've learned so much.
Okay.
It's been great.
Hope you enjoyed this episode of Studio Minute. You can find more like this on our Facebook page. Be sure to like us.
It's complicated.
Gotta go back and see.